So states play a vital role when it comes to immigrations within their borders. States also often collaborate with federal authorities, and the extent of that collaboration really varies via state to state. And finally, another way that the states play a role in immigration is in terms of providing resources to the communities to foster inclusivity and to foster integration within the communities that come into the state.
Being a state representative, I know that we do not put a lot of money towards the border historically because we feel it is a federal issue. But when they can't do the job that they're supposed to do, right? We feel like it should be a contract, right? The federal government, they do certain things for us that we can't handle. This is one of them. But when this surge happened, we knew as a state that we had to do something. And so now you're seeing more laws being passed at the state level, more decisions being made at the state level, whether it's from the governor down to the legislature that's saying, okay, if they can't do the job, then we need to step up and do it. And so now this is why you're seeing more bills being passed to handle this surge in illegal immigration.
While immigration is primarily regulated by the federal government, states do have the authority to enact areas that the federal government hasn't enacted areas to support their own communities. And this is in terms of, for example, education, healthcare, driver's license, which is something that we just did here in the state of Rhode Island.
Yeah, so for one, it's definitely costing us money, right? Because we're sending people down to the border, like our National Guard and our sheriffs and our law enforcement to try to help the situation, which is costing us tax dollars. We've asked the Biden administration to help with recovering those dollars, but we haven't seen that yet. And a perfect example of the impact is, when the surge started happening in 21, we saw that firsthand with our economy.
Undocumented immigrants undoubtedly have an effect on public services, but it's important to really approach this in a nuanced perspective. And that's because while some may argue that immigrants are a hindrance or a strain on public resources, studies have consistently shown how they also contribute to the economy and the well-being of our states, via their labor, via consumption, and that many undocumented immigrants also pay taxes. And this is through sales tax, this is property tax when they rent, so which also contributes to a state's revenue and to support the essential services that all of us need in terms of our communities. And these are services that a lot of times they're not eligible for public benefits to be able to get a return in terms of the contributions that they are making.
Obviously, it's costing us more money. Like I said, we had to have the Guard sent out to the border from Arizona, which costs us a lot. I want to say it's in the $300+ per day, which we have to put the bill, we have to pay for that. And then on top of that, I know in our last budget, we put millions of dollars towards our law enforcement to help them beef up services on the border because we knew it was such an issue. So it's costing us dollars, obviously, from the state level. You got to provide healthcare, you got to provide food and water and housing, all again costing us more money. So it's a drain on our economy without a doubt.
Yeah, I do believe so that the states should be allocating dollars for undocumented immigrants. That requires consideration of both humanitarian and fiscal concerns, right? While many undocumented immigrants may not have the legal status, they still reside within our borders, within our communities, and contribute to our local economy, the vibrancy of our economies and the vibrancies of our communities. So denying them access to the essential services like housing or healthcare or education can really exacerbate the social inequalities and the public health risks that comes with that. So investing is the right thing to do for the well-being of all of our residents, regardless of their immigration status, because it does build more stronger and resilient communities.
I think we have the understanding that the federal government is supposed to do certain things, right? They have to make sure that we're protecting this country from terrorism. They're protecting it from things like the illegal immigration situation that's happening. So it shouldn't be our job to do it. Unfortunately, we're in a position where we have to do it because they're not doing the job properly. And and we're seeing that obviously in the last 4 years. And so, although I know it's not our job and our duty to do it, we have to step up, and it's the only thing that we can do at this point to try to protect the citizens of this state, of this country. And it's rough because it's obviously it's draining our finances, it's draining our law enforcement. I mean, we know that they're working overtime, spending more hours than they should be doing a job that the feds should be doing.
States can implement measures in terms of protecting the rights of immigrants and ensuring they promote integration and so on, addressing the root causes that cause people to come here. But to say that they can be given the free hand to do as they please, as many states have done with immigration, it sets a really dangerous precedent because Congress has been clear, the Supreme Court has been clear that Congress has the primary authority over immigration and to allow states to do as they please when it comes to addressing migration is a very dangerous precedent because we're going to have various policies and procedures in various states, which can create really, really big problems for our country as a whole. We are a country of immigrants. We've always been. It's been in our background, in our fabric for hundreds of years, and it's really saddening me to listen to these types of policies and rhetoric, that have been happening primarily because I come from a mixed status family, and I've seen firsthand how our immigration system is broken, doesn't work.
When you look at the crimes that are being committed a lot of times with this illegal immigration that's happening, you're talking about child trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, all things that the federal government should be stopping from coming across the border. I mean, these are crimes that are extremely serious, and the only way you stop that is when the federal government puts the foot down, and that really comes from the presidency. I mean, I think when you saw the Trump administration come out and say, you're not, this border is closed. If you are not coming here for asylum or going through the right process, you shouldn't be coming here. And the message obviously shifted in this administration, and now you're seeing this obviously this surplus of individuals. So when you're dealing with all these certain crimes that are happening, you're dealing with all these extra resources being needed. The federal government, this is their job to do it. They should be doing what they need to do, whether to deport people, whether processing people properly if they're seeking asylum. This right now is a free-for-all, and this is 100% the federal government's job.